cars they believe would be running very close to 240 miles per hour. Pole speed turned out to be 222 this year.
Scott Sharp, you saw his a little bit earlier, the pole winner in 2001, the Visor-Cam. Arizona. And Dario Franchitti, he hopes to become the first Scotsman since Jim Clark in 1965 to go to victory lane. Again, the camera, the right side of his right eye looking across to the pits.
Now look at the steering wheel here through this Visor-Cam. Very interesting to see all the activity that's going on. Some warning indicator lights are right around this area here. You can see the RPM lights, the shift lights keep illuminating here. There's green, yellow, and red up on the top of the steering wheel. Right in the very center of the steering wheel will be the gear indicator that he'll be watching, because these guys will be actually shifting quite a few times per. In sixth gear, there is a headwind right now going into turn one, so that means he'll be using fourth or fifth into turn one up to sixth gear going down the straightaway you're riding along right now, which is all the way down to turn three.
Another member of that team, Dan Weldon, sits in fourth, back with the Visor-Cam.
What a ride this is right now. We talked about those shift lights. You can see them going from the green, yellow up to red, and that's when he'll select another gear. The bright red comes on, and then he gets up to fifth gear going through to turn 3-4 complex. We talked about that wind. He'll be using the gear lever on his right hand side down over in this area here, sometimes as many as 3 or 4 times per lap. Guys, they might end up with almost 2,000 shifts over this, and throttle back a little bit, try and wait for the car to come to you. But when you're that young, you're at the Indianapolis 500, you just want to keep your right foot down to the peg.
Gary Gerald.
Paul, we were just checking in here on the Castro Neves situation. He made his pit stop. It was for fuel and tires only. No aerodynamic changes or tweaks on the car.
And there are some rain showers out there. Race is considered a completed race once it passes the 101st lap, or 252nd and a half mile. And the teams will be looking out to the west with a number of different techniques to try to figure out what the weather guessers are going to do about the whole thing, and whether.
And then Tony Kanaan currently in third spot. The Visor-Cam, good look at what it's like to be behind the wheel of a race car. Send it over to a man who knows all about that, Scott Goodyear.
Well, Terry, you saw the hand moving of Scott Sharp right there, and what he was doing is he's pushing the button right now and talking to his engineer, telling him what the car is doing. Well, he had a little bit of English going there because he was actually starting to talk with his left hand as he was driving. Now, the yellow light you see flashing on your left-hand side here, that's the yellow caution light that comes on whenever the track goes yellow. You can have an opportunity to watch the flag stand with the flagger, actually with the yellow flag, or some yellow lights that are sometimes located on the fence around the racetrack. But the IRL actually designed and made this yellow light system that's on board all the cars out there, so they'll know anywhere they're on the racetrack when the yellow light comes on.
Weldon, Castro Neves, Kanaan, Honda, Toyota, Honda. Those are the top three. There's the lap leaders thus far. The pole sitter, Buddy Rice, leads the first 12. Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
Guys, with Danny Weldon leading, let's lead over and talk to his car owner, Michael Andretti. And Michael, I know it's not raining very much here right now, but what is Danny saying about some moisture over on the backstretch and then turn 3?
Yeah, it seems like it's a little wetter on the backstretch, but from what I hear, it's going to be raining pretty hard in about a half hour, so we probably won't get it all in today.
You made the call not to change tires on that first stop. Did you have this in mind when you didn't change tires? You wanted to be out front?
Well, I didn't make the call. I'll give them the credit. But, yeah, it was track position is going to be king today. So, you know, I think.
All right, Michael Andretti put his car out front, but we are currently having some moisture being reported from over in turn 3. Let's check in with Gary.
And with Roger Penske. Roger.
So that, hey, I'm not supposed to go in there. I don't want to be penalized, so they stayed on the racetrack. And Scott Sharp's asking the same question. You know, those guys are getting drenched in there right now, and I'll tell you, you got slick tires on there right now. That tire right there has no treads on it whatsoever. It can hydroplane very, very quickly. So the key thing for these guys is just to keep it slow and steady. You just don't want to slide off and have a slight graze with the wall in a situation like this.
Paul, you remember when Bobby Unser won that rain-shortened race? And
out there as well. There's Dario Franchitti's view. Oh, this is so cool. Look at that. You can read everything on that dash. Well, you guys with the big screens can. I wish we had one of those. There is Scott Sharp's view. Sharp is back in 22nd position, so it's an uphill battle for him. Right there. Pick up a little bit of the toe, get by. But remember, even though it's classified as a super speedway, as you ride with Dario Franchitti and the Visor-Cam, only 9 degrees of bank. Not much at all. I want one of those steering wheels.
You can get it if you want to drive at the Indy 500.
How much is it going to cost me, Jack?
Somewhere around $40,000, guys. You can have one of those.
Oh, cool.
Hard to believe that in an open cockpit car a guy's head can stay as stable as it is, but you showed us, Scott, in Show and Tell, the aerodynamic devices that they put on these helmets. They put helmets in wind tunnels now.
They do, and they actually work with the car manufacturers to see exactly how the helmets work with each individual car.
Dario Franchitti actually set him up with a helicopter and licensure and everything for a marriage present. Look at this.
Dixon
to the inside of Franchitti, and he makes it. Dario's been flying back and forth to their home in Nashville in his helicopter. He loves the thing.
And you saw how he downshifted there when the lights came back up.
There's Dario Franchitti as he comes into the pit area, and we'll see now how I'm assuming, I'm going to make a bad assumption. I was going to assume that more would come in than appeared on pit road.
Running the wick on the candle.